Hey guys, so I'm here for the first video in ShakeTube 2017, and of course the first play we're doing is the Taming of the Shrew. But before I talk about it, a lot more people have joined ShakeTube because Steve Donahue mentioned it. Thank you, Steve, for doing that. I will link everyone I found below. If you don't see your name there, let me know so I can go watch your videos or look for your comments if you're not a video maker. Anyway, here to talk about the Taming of the Shrew, and yeah, so so this play, for anyone who doesn't know, is sort of a play within a play. It starts with this poor drunkard who is tricked by a nobleman into thinking that he is a nobleman, and then for some reason the nobleman and his servants who are tricking this poor man into thinking he's a nobleman decide to put on a play for him. So we already know that this is a play. I mean, we know it's a play because it's by Shakespeare, but it is a play inside a play. Anyway, I didn't really get why that was there. It felt weirdly postmodern, but it certainly doesn't take away from the play for me. So the story of the actual story is primarily about the two daughters of this man named Baptista, Catherine and Bianca. Bianca is very desirable, very pretty, sort of more docile, but Catherine is more feisty, and she's the shrew of the title. So it's about several men who want to marry Bianca, who are in love with her, but her father won't allow them to until Catherine is married. And then these men conspire to have this other man named Petruchio, who is also very kind of domineering and strong, to come in and marry Catherine because they feel like they would be a good match. And it kind of goes from there. So my absolute favorite moment in the entire play was when Catherine and Petruchio first meet. Their dialogue, the dialogue they have is just, I think it was my favorite moment of just like crafting of dialogue, because there was just their witticisms and how they each of them plays off what the other said in such a clever way. I loved it. I would love to see that acted out, and I want to eventually, at least in a video form. Yeah, I loved that part. On a more, I think, on another note, I think this play would be easy to interpret as really sexist and kind of this morality tale about how women should obey their husbands and all this patriarchal stuff. But there's a possibility that it's much more complicated than that. Catherine starts out as this feisty woman who won't let any man order her around, etc. And by the end of the play, seems to have become very, doing everything Petruchio says. He says, at one point he says, "I say that the sun is the moon, and you must believe that too." And so she submits and says, "Yes, the sun is the moon," and etc. So by the end of the play, she seems to have become this docile wife. But if this were a, straightforward morality tale like that, I feel like it wouldn't be a comedy, because I've read a couple morality tales sort of like that, about how women should stay in their place, etc., and they usually aren't funny. They're usually the woman, abandons her husband, and then the tribe, expels her or executes her or something like that. So I get the sense that Shakespeare might be sort of almost making fun of this patriarchal idea of marriage, but Bloom sort of raises the point that Catherine is sort of being pragmatic. She sees that she can't be this outwardly feisty, strong woman in Elizabethan England, so she takes advantage of Petruchio and starts to appear submissive to him, but really is sort of more in control of the situation. I don't quite know whether she's manipulating Petruchio at all, because I don't really see an instance of that, but the essay in the back of my edition by Karen Newman does, I think, make a good point when she says that Catherine's final speech, the final speech she gives at the very end is this very long speech where she talks about, oh, women are weaker, so they have different duties than men. Women should obey their husbands all the time, and women are inferior. Blah 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 blah. That act of giving that huge long speech in public is an inherently unwomanly thing to do, because at that time women were supposed to be quiet and submissive in public, but here she is stating her opinions, ordering 2 other women around, essentially, in front of a bunch of people. So, yeah, I do see this as sort of Catherine, not quite as Catherine being oppressed and kind of caged and or tamed, but more as her adapting to her surroundings. And also, the play is full of people putting on disguises to get what they want. You have Lucentio, who wants to marry Bianca, Catherine's younger sister, so he disguises himself as a music tutor. And you have Hortensio, who also wants to marry Bianca, and, oh no, it's Hortensio who disguises himself as a music tutor. Lucentio disguises himself as, like, a literature or just general humanities tutor. And so they're disguising themselves as tutors to get Bianca to fall in love with them. And then Tranio, Lucentio's servant, disguises himself as Lucentio. So there's all this, and also, we start out the play with a nobleman and a bunch of his servants convincing this poor man that he is something he's not. So we have a lot of trickery and putting out of disguises for people to get what they want, whatever what they want is. So Catherine putting on this facade of being this good submissive wife to get what she wants and sort of subtly control the situation would be internally consistent with the events of the play. But at the same time, it would be nice if the world were a place where a woman could just be openly like Catherine is at the beginning, where there weren't these expectations placed on women. But, I mean, it was Elizabethan England that this was written in, so, and definitely to an extent, we still subscribe to a lot of these ideas about women, in a lot of countries explicitly, but in the United States, I think still implicitly in some ways, at least. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this. The dialogue is, of course, great. I found it really very easy to read. I could have read it in one sitting, I think. I didn't, but yeah, this was fun. I can't wait to watch a production. I know there was a famous movie made in the 60s or 70s, which I think I'll watch at some point. So yeah, I think this was a good start. So, anyway, that's everything I have to say. I did enjoy this play. Yeah, and I can't wait to watch other people's videos. And if anyone wants to leave a comment, anyone's read The Taming of the Shrew or watched production or anything, please give me your thoughts. So, thank you guys. Bye!